Today we are going to be talking about telling time. The first thing we're going to talk about with telling time is telling time to the nearest hour and hour and a half. So let's look at these clocks to start. What are you noticing about these clocks? So the first thing I'm noticing is obviously this one over here doesn't have hands. So that's kind of weird. Let's look at the other three. This one, I have one just like it in the classroom. You've probably used it before. This one is similar to one like you would wear on your wrist. And this last one is like an alarm clock. Okay. Also, I'm noticing that there are hour hands and minute hands on these three clocks. Okay. So I'm also noticing that there are tick marks on all of these clocks. The tick marks tell me the minutes. So there are 60 tick marks on all of these clocks. Okay, so let's look at these two clocks. So let's start with telling time to the nearest hour. So you're going to look at the shorthand first. The shorthand is going to tell you the hour. So right now it is 3 something. We need to figure out the minutes. Okay, so that's 3 o'clock. That's 3. So the shorthand tells you the hour. Then the minute hand is the long one. The minute hand is pointing towards the 12. So the 12 is going to tell me that it is 3 o'clock. We put 300 to show o'clock. Okay? We don't say 3:12. Okay? The 12, you know to put 00 because it's the top of the hour. There's no minutes in the hour yet. Okay? And this one right here shows that it is 4:30. I know that because the hour hand is not quite on the 5, so it has to be on the 4 o'clock hour. Okay. And the minute hand is the long hand. The minute hand right now is pointing towards the 6. Okay, so when it's on the 6, I know that that is 30. I know it is 30 because the tick marks are by 1. So there are 30 tick marks in between the 12 and the 6. Or to make it faster, I can count by 5s. So the big numbers are 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the time is 4:30. So let's practice with some of these clocks. So we are going to match these clocks with these clocks over here. So the first clock says what? So I know that the hour hand, the shorthand is pointing towards the 6. Okay, so which clock over here has 6 for the hour? So that looks like it's probably going to be this one because it has 6 for the hour. But let's check. So it says 600. That tells me that it is 6 o'clock. And I remember that when the minute hand is pointing towards the 12, that means it is 6 o'clock. So this guy matches with this guy. Let's look at this one. So the hour hand, the short hand is pointing towards the 10, and the minute hand is on the 12. So that tells me it is o'clock. It is 10 o'clock, which matches with this one. And let's look at this one. Oh, this one's tricky because our hour hand is not quite on the 4 yet. So it's in between the 3 and the 4. So if the hour hand is not quite on the 4 yet, it's in this 3 o'clock range. So the hour is 3. And I remember that when the minute hand is on the 6, that means 30. So it is 3:30. So which clock over here says 3:30? So the hour on this one is 3, so it looks like it might be this one because I don't see any of the other ones that say 3 and 30. So this one matches with that one. And our last clock over here, the hour hand is in between the 12 and the 1. So if it's not quite on the 1 yet, it's still in that 12 range. So it is going to be 12 something. Right? And our minute hand is on that 6 again, which reminds me of 30 because 6 means 30 because if we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it is 12:30, which looks like this guy right here. Let's do 4 more. have, looks like the hour hand is in between the 6 and the 7. Okay, so if it's not quite on the 7, it has to be 6 something. Okay, so 6 something, let's look at our minute hand. The minute hand's on the 6, again that is 30. Okay, so it has to be 6:30. So which clock over here, let's start with our hour. Which clock has 6 as the hour? Looks like this guy right here. Okay, so that says 6:30, that matches with what I said over there. So these match. Okay, so this matches with this. Okay, let's look at this guy. Okay, so we have an hour hand that's in between the 2 and the 3. So it is still in the 2 range. So that tells me it is 2 something. So 2, and then I know that 6 means 30. It's been 30 minutes, so 2:30, which matches with this one. Okay. And then this one. So that reminds me, I noticed this 12 right away. When that minute hand's on the 12, I know that it means o'clock. Okay, so what hour is it? So let's look at our shorthand. The shorthand is pointing to the 1. So it is 1 o'clock. Okay. And our last one. So our last one, the minute hand is pointing on the 6 again, which means 30. And our hour hand is in between the 7 and the 8. It's not quite on the 8, so that tells me it has to be 7. It's in the 7 o'clock range. So we have 7:30, which matches with this one. So let's look at our close here. Sam says this clock shows 8:12. Is he correct? So he thinks it is 8:12. So he thinks the hour is 8. So let's check it. So our shorthand is pointing towards the 8. So he is correct there. Let's check his minutes. He says it's 8:12. So my minute hand is pointing on the 12, but that does not mean it is 8:12. Remember, the minute hand means on the 12 means o'clock. Okay? Because it's the top of the hour, there's no minutes left, or no minutes yet in the hour. So it is 8 o'clock. So would that make Sam correct or incorrect? So he is incorrect. It is 8 o'clock. Okay, so to practice your skills, you can watch this Brain Pop video. It's going to help you tell time to the nearest hour, and then you can play this game to help you practice your skills.